future of work. So let's look at work today. How does work work today? How does work work today? Okay, so what is work? You wake up in the morning and you put on a suit. You start work at 9 a.m., you go to work, and it ends between 5 p.m. and 2 a.m., depending on where you're at. And what do you do at work? You spend 1/3 of your time working on the computer, if you're like a white-collar worker. 1/3 of your time in meetings that you don't enjoy, and you want to take out your phone. Hopefully other people are taking out their phone, so it's not bad for you to take out your phone and mess around, not listen to the people. And then 1/3 of your time on Facebook or social network of your choice, and then you go home. And you're pissed off because you missed your child's piano recital or their soccer game. This is, I'm sure very few of you guys have kids, but in the future, this will actually matter, and you'll have a lot of responsibility. So then that doesn't make any sense to business, right? As a business, doesn't make sense for me to have these people dress up in suits, be frustrated, come to work, spend all their time in meetings and on Facebook, and then be pissed off because they're missing out on all those things. So it's not the best thing for business. For me as an employee, is this the best option for me? I don't want to wear a suit. I don't want to go to meetings. I don't want to. So it's not right for me. It's not right for the employees. It's not right for business. Why do we do it? Why have we always been doing it? Because people want to simplify complexity in the world, and they want to make simple decisions. So they're like, okay, everyone's doing it like this. Let's just copy them, and that's how we should work. In reality, that doesn't make any sense. And the future of work, in my opinion, is all about remote work, distributed teams, and a concept of full autonomy to people. All I really care about as a business is output. I don't care if you arrive at 9 a.m. or 9:02 a.m. I don't care if you're wearing a suit or you're in your pajamas. I don't care if you're in the office or if you're on the beach. All I care about is your output. That's what I care about. And all you care about is to have full flexibility of your time. So if you have a 2 p.m. parent-teacher meeting, you can go to it without asking for 100 approvals, right? So why doesn't everyone do remote work? The reason is that some companies try it and it fails. And the reason it fails is because, first of all, they're very skeptical in the first place that it'll ever work. Second of all, they try to apply the way they think of management and the way they've done management in the last 30 years to remote work without realizing that management completely changes when you do work remotely. So for work, the future of work is about remote working. You have to change the way we think of management. You have to change the way we think of leadership. You have to change the way we think of building culture in companies. But I think it's very powerful. So that's the future of work in my opinion. Again, all of these things are my thoughts, and I agree. I'm sure if there was someone else in the room that completely thinks I'm talking out of left field and I make no sense, I think it makes sense, but I'm very, very happy to answer questions for people who disagree. VenturePact. Oh, yes, disagreement.
How would you cope with the social aspect? I mean, if you don't go to your office, you don't meet your team members.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Good question. So, right. So people think so. Remote work basically means that you can work anywhere, anytime. That doesn't mean that you never meet your team. So we are a remote company. VenturePact, by the way, we're a remote company. We have people. This is our thought. The reason because we're like, why should I'm going to answer your question. I just wanted to say one thing. Why should I limit myself, the talent pool that I can hire, to a 50-mile radius from my office? Right? Because people have to drive to work or take a subway. So I can limit the talent pool available to me as a company to hire is 50 miles from my office. But we were traveling around the world for our business, what we do. And we would meet great people that wanted to work with us, and we're like, why can't we hire them? So that's why we started doing remote work, and also there's a lot of other things I'll talk about later about what we do. But your question was, how do you meet teams? You now, by the way, as a company, have completely removed office space expense, which is a pretty big expense. All that money goes into travel and vacations and trips. So what we do is every 3 months, each team will meet together in some location of their choice, and all that money is covered by the office space expense that you had before. And by the way, everyone loves just going to Hawaii for a month and just hanging out, or 2 weeks.
You have no creative interaction between your employees.
That's not true. That's not true at all. So there is amazing technology that's come out that empowers remote meetings and remote communication. So there's companies like Squiggle and Fusebox, and there's a new robot technology where you have iPads that can move around and you can actually talk in real time. You can do whiteboarding technology where I can do whiteboard across 3 different locations. That's not true anymore. In 2004, that was true. Today, it's no longer true. The communication and internet and the communication technology available today has completely changed. That's why remote work is relevant today. I agree with you 10 years ago you couldn't do remote work because imagine if you're on a call and it keeps cutting. But today, that's not the case. And you can build teams. You have to build relationships, build culture. It's a completely different environment. It's not easy. And a lot of the times when we're working with companies and we're talking to them about remote work, it's very hard for a company with 55,000 people that already have offices to completely become remote. I completely understand that. But when you have hybrid teams where you have some office space, some people co-located in an office, some people that are remote, some people are distributed around the world, some people in different time zones, the way you think of management completely changes. And it's different for completely distributed teams where there's no office, versus one office and different distributed teams. There's a lot of different dynamics and it does change management and a lot of challenges, you're right. But they are surmountable problems. You just have to want to solve them and make effort into solving them. And it's all about running experiments. You experiment with different things, see what works.